Hi, YouTube. Brandon's eyes are beautiful today.
Yes.
They look great. Great show. Great show. Top 7 Pac-12 quarterbacks. Brandon had quite a Twitter space.
The biggest Twitter space in college football. Oh, now the Deion Sanders.
Well, whatever. Like, subscribe. Brandon, do you have anything to say?
Enjoy.
How would they not? Yeah, for sure.
But girls, ladies, get out of your phone. You want to pay attention to the front of the class?
Excuse me?
Yeah, pay attention to the class.
Pay attention. Well,
y'all are popping today.
They really are.
Like, wow. It looks like you have a filter on, but it's not. It's because your shirt is bringing out the blue in those baby blues.
You know who has the bluest eyes?
Shut up, Jack. They're gassing me up.
Who has the bluest eyes, Jack?
Patty's eyes are really.
Oh, it's true.
You couldn't let me.
No, Kirk Herbstreit has the bluest eyes I've ever seen in my life.
That was disturbing how icy blue those eyes were.
Who's the Irish actor that always plays the bad guy that has super blue eyes? Cillian Murphy. His eyes are like scary blue. Kirk Herbstreit's are bluer than his, but not in a scary way. Like his were like
just look like little tiny swimming pools of joy.
Yes. Man.
Okay.
You know what came up the other day, speaking of?
What?
I was looking for pictures of me, you, Dave, and Dan together for something that is, and the pictures of us all at the airport with Kirk Herbstreit came up. And I just forgot about the big story coming out of that was you being scared to talk to him. The underrated, well, it was. The underrated story there is that it was like the one day that we took like the Mickey Mouse plane and landed it right next to their gigantic plane. And it was just kind of embarrassing.
But wasn't theirs there because it was having problems, or they were having trouble getting out of there?
Oh no, they were doing something nice and like dropping off. Like I don't remember.
They were having trouble getting out. I think they had to get a new plane or something.
No, they had only one plane. Normally they have two. They only had one, and they had to drop off. Who? Oh, it was Jordan Rodgers.
But you're not remembering it right. Yes, they dropped off Jordan Rodgers and they stopped, but Kirk was sitting there saying, "We're gonna have to get another plane."
I don't know how you would have heard that since you were so far away from the conversation.
I was 4 inches away from you.
Whatever.
I was right beside you.
Bluest eyes I've ever seen.
I was right behind you.
Bluer than these high noon cans.
I wasn't scared of talking to him. I was letting Dave and Dan talk to him first, and then I was going to have my turn.
I don't think that's what was happening, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Fair. It's in the past. No. It's in the past.
Doesn't seem like it is in the past. You're the only one that ever brings it up.
Well, it was a memory on my iPhone.
That's not okay. Hello. It's unnecessary roughness. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Aloha. It's unnecessary roughness. Barstool's college football podcast brought to you by the good folks at High Noon Hard Seltzer. I have been told previously to starting the show that my eyes are popping. So I'm staring right into your camera and right into your soul. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see how good I look today. It's good to see.
People already know because it was in the cold open, but go on with your bad self.
It might not be in the cold open. You don't know. You don't know what Jack's going to put in the cold open.
I have an idea.
I'm going to put that really awful thing you said about an employee before.
Me or him?
You.
Oh, I don't think I said anything.
You said nothing. I was making that up.
Did she say something? Did she say something like, I don't know, Ben Mintz did a video about taking the Southerner of the Year award today while missing work and not doing the fucking show that I asked him to do, and while being late 20 minutes yesterday because he had to go to a goddamn Fish concert for the 7th day in a row?
Yeah.
Something
that
like
was actually what, yeah.
That's exactly what she said?
Yeah.
Interesting. New information I didn't know that I was spouting off.
I now actually, at first it was a mild annoyance. I actually hate him now.
Oh, nice.
I legitimately hate him.
Oh, nice.
And not because of the King of the South stuff, because just behind the scenes, he's just a true piece of shit. And I want people to know that. All right, here we go. So it is Unnecessary Roughness brought to you by High Noon Hard Seltzer. They are delicious.
We got some here in front of us.
Is that the pool pack?
Oh, it's the pool pack, which comes with 2 lime, 2 guava, 2 kiwi, and 2 peach. You know, Kayce loves the peach.
I do love the peach.
Why did your voice do that, Jack?
Sometimes I do stupid things, and that was one of the stupid things that I've done, and there'll probably be other stupid things during this podcast that I do.
Cool. Well, look forward to that. Today, this show is going to have several stupid things by Jack. We're also going to talk. We're going to finish up our conference quarterback rankings. We are down to the Pac-12, which I think if we do any other positions, we should start with the Pac-12 because they always go last.
We should probably maybe do a G5 quarterbacks list next show.
Oh, I like
Agreed.
that.
Or maybe we just put one out on social. We don't even have to talk about we
No,
can run over.
We should do a G5 list too.
Well, maybe G5 plus independence.
Well, yeah, G5 plus Notre Dame and BYU and the others. Yeah.
And UConn.
And
I'm
Army.
sorry?
You can't forget the troops.
Never forget the troops.
I feel like you can when it comes to a quarterback list.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of
Not a running back
speaking of the
list, though.
troops, our friend Captain Cons is in the office today.
Yeah.
And we were discussing how excited we are that the Army Navy game is back in Philadelphia this year, because that means that we're going to get to go because MetLife hates us in the years past. I did not really think about the fact that we just flat out missed out on that the last 2 years. And I'm really pissed about it.
Yeah, we haven't gone since 2019.
Yeah, because MetLife sucks.
Well, it was MetLife last year, and then did COVID eat the game the year before? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was in West Point, wasn't it?
No. They played a game.
I'm pretty sure it was at Army.
Well, we didn't go.
No,
anyway.
it wasn't at Army.
It
Oh,
was.
Yeah,
it was.
You're right.
I think it might have been
in
at Army.
2020
Jack.
it was.
Right.
Facts. She's facts. Facts. On God.
On God, yes.
Oh,
Thank you,
I
Jack.
run to the yard like a track star.
Y'all all right?
Justin Bieber. It's okay.
So we're gonna do the Pac-12 quarterback list. We're also going to talk a little bit about some things that have happened around me, and then we're gonna do a Q&A. We haven't done a Q&A with our guys in a long time. We're gonna get a lot of these Roughnecks questions in, and we're gonna go through their answers.
You tweet that out?
What?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Well, I didn't feel like I feel like it's really stupid to text you and say, "Hey, tweet this out," when I have the password. I mean, when I
No. Don't. No. I was.
Nice save.
No. Yeah.
It was a good tweet, Jack.
It was. Thank you.
I mean, the jig is up.
No, it's not. The jig is not up. He texted me, "Hey, we need to ask the Roughnecks questions because they always have the best questions."
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand that, but when he singles himself out, it's very clear that you didn't do it.
No,
Listen,
no.
I'm just not. I don't want to.
Answered by Brandon and the others.
That's what he said.
Yes.
No, that's.
He said.
No.
He said like
No, that was because he told me to say that because.
and the others. Oh no, excuse
sorry.
me.
No.
It said with help of the others.
With help from the
others.
The others. That's almost like the help. He should have called us the help.
He did. He did. He said with.
I didn't.
help
Well,
from the
Jack. I
others.
mean, you should have called y'all the help.
No, I copied and pasted what you texted me. Remember?
That's right. Thank you,
didn't
and I
even know,
appreciate
but
that.
you would have read it first because you're so thorough at what you do.
No, I was trolling you.
He's
We were
trusting.
trolling. He texted
very
me also.
Liar.
He said,
Very
"Hey,
trusting.
make it seem
Liar.
like I tweeted this. It will be good content."
Liar. I just look at it and I just roll my eyes. I'm like, I know that was Brandon. I don't care.
Hey, did y'all see that I did a Twitter space yesterday that had 1,200 concurrents at one point?
Yeah, we tweeted it out.
Yeah, Jack was the only one awake of the help from the others.
Oh, you said a crazy thing at the end that I really want to address.
Yeah, before we get to that, which I have
Not the drama. You had one take that I was like, wow. And I don't think it's wrong. It was just a very interesting take.
I
All right.
have my thoughts on this and we'll get into the actual space. One, I apologize, NyQuil kicks my ass. Two, did you just sporadically do that? Was that a random thing that you wanted to do?
I was sitting at the house here in Mississippi, and I was bored, and I was thinking about what to watch on YouTube, and I got a DM from a random dude, just a random fan, said, "Hey, do a Twitter Spaces about college football." I said, "All right," and I just did it. And I was like, "That's a good idea."
I would love to do those more often. Like now that we're like ramping up for the season, like maybe not like a set time every week, but like had I known that was happening, I would have waited to take the NyQuil. Even if you didn't allow me to help you in the Twitter space, I would have at least wanted to listen to it.
Well, if you guys ever do it, we'll tweet it out from on a
That's why I want to do it, is what I'm saying.
You should do it tonight.
It'd also be a good way to grow the
That's
account
fine.
if you guys do it. It's hosted by one of us, like on it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just wanted to do a Twitter
Yeah,
Space.
no, that's why I was
you're
asking
good.
if it was spontaneous. I'm just curious. I'm not like upset with you, but moving forward, I will stay awake and not take NyQuil.
Jack, what did I say that was crazy? Also, you said something that was crazy yesterday too. You're batshit crazy for what I'm about to talk to you about. But what am I crazy about?
Wow.
Okay, somebody asked you, would you rather have Quinn Ewers, Xavier Worthy, and Bijan Robinson, or Alabama's? Yeah, Bryce, Heisman winning quarterback, Jameer
Yeah.
Gibbs. Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said, I think I'm crazy for saying this, and it sounds wrong coming out of my mouth, but Texas.
Brandon.
Okay, listen to this. I think listen, Bryce Young is great. He's already won a Heisman. Quinn Ewers is that level of recruit. I don't know. That's I'm taking an L there, but Bijan Robinson's better than Jahmyr Gibbs, and the receiver Xavier Worthy I think is better than Jermaine Burton. So I'm kind of okay with it.
I think that you're blinded by the orange and white uniforms that they're wearing.
I don't think I am. I'm taking a loss on the quarterback there, and I'm hoping my recruiting stars are worth it. But I'm winning on two other positions.
Yeah, but those other positions didn't.
Guys, we got to understand. We got to understand something. We can joke about Texas and we can do the Texas back and all that. They're like special at those two positions. Their receiver group is going to be incredible, and their running back group is going to be incredible with one of the best running backs in the country.
No. I definitely agree with that. And when we did players that we were interested in, I mean, Bijan Robinson was high up on everybody's list. However, it is tough, and I agree with Jack. I didn't hear it, but it is tough when you look at how special those positions are, and they sat at home during bowl season versus Alabama, who won the national championship.
Okay, okay, exactly. You're choosing Alabama because they won a national title. What if I just said
and a Heisman Trophy winner?
What if I just and I was taking a loss there, but if I said these three individuals against these three individuals, and you didn't know what teams they played for, I feel like Texas individuals would come out on top.
I would still take but if you didn't know that Bryce Young won a Heisman, then yeah, that's a different story.
I'm not worried about the Heisman.
Quarterback out, which is like, if you take the quarterback out, but yeah, I mean, running back, wide receiver, tight end, Texas maybe a little bit better.
Bijan for sure. I mean, there's no doubt
and
about
Xavier
that.
Worthy for sure.
I understand your take. I just disagree with
Jalil Billingsley back with Sark.
Okay, sure. Now, Jack, you said something yesterday on our Twitter account that I thought was
all right, Jack.
No, I said on mine.
Okay, it was yours then. Okay, well, I tweeted out I'm doing this every day. I'm tweeting out a play. And I tweeted out the Oklahoma State interception against Oklahoma back in 2011, 10, somewhere in there. But it's the famous interception where the guy jumps out of bounds, grabs the ball, and throws it back inbounds to a guy that catches it, and it's an interception. Okay, we all know the play?
Yes.
Jack said that's a very overrated play.
Sadly.
And I understand what he is saying is his point, but in my estimation, it doesn't matter if they won the game in this sense, because this is just an individual play of excellence that you've never seen before. That's why it stands out. It doesn't stand out because they helped them win the game.
I agree with you that it's an amazing play. It's probably one of the greater interceptions ever. However, interceptions really don't do much for me in terms of just like what interceptions are never really great to me. Yeah. They are if you're cheering for a team or you bet on a team, yada, 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 in the grand scheme of things, but they're not amazing runs or amazing catches usually.
Or if the interception.
And it's not like a kick return. And I get it. I get why that play is amazing.
This was an amazing catch and amazing.
I think he just it was kind of lucky.
Oh, what? How was it lucky? What kind of? He did it on purpose. He had the wherewithal. He had the smarts to do it. Yeah,
I agree with you there. The only thing is, it's just never done it for me. It's almost like a girl like Mariah Carey. That's who I compare it to. Everyone's like, she's one of the hottest women ever. But to me, I'm just like, yeah, she has a great voice, but I don't see it from like the pure attractiveness level.
So what you're saying is,
now we're taking shots at the fucking queen.
I knew that was going to happen.
That's what we're doing. We're taking shots at the fucking queen.
I'm just trying to put this in perspective and explain I understand.
Are you naked?
Yes.
Are you wearing pants?
Just relax.
He's not wearing pants.
So, and nothing against Mariah Carey. She seems like a great person. Amazing voice. Amazing voice.
So what you're saying is, and from what I understand, is the play itself is an amazing play. People just put it too high up on the amazing play list.
Yeah, it's a play that it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. It's a one of a kind. It really is.
I agree with Brandon that it's an incredible play. I don't think that it's overhyped, but you're not saying it's a shit play. You're just saying it shouldn't be as high up on people's lists as
if it was returned.
He's only telling half the story. He also tweeted that it wasn't as good a play because they didn't win the game.
No, I was about to say.
Well,
I was about to say right before you said what I said was, if that happened in the fourth quarter of a really important game, or even that game, because it was important, they were both really good that year. It was bedlam, yada yada yada, da 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 da. But if it happened in a late game and it was returned for a touchdown and it was a sick return, I get why it would be top play. But I see it. I'm just like,
I don't hate that take. I agree that the play in a vacuum is unbelievable. But it's like when you talk about interceptions, like one of the first ones, and I know it's not college, it's pro, but like one of the first ones that comes to mind is Malcolm Butler's in the Super Bowl, right? Well, that was a huge interception because of what it created. If they would have lost that game, we wouldn't talk about that interception. So I see what you mean. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no.
Like because they didn't.
I then tweeted out Jalen Hurts run in the national championship to put Alabama up against Clemson with 2 minutes to go, and it was a great run, and it's one of my favorite plays ever. But nobody talks about it because it happened in a game that they lost. That was my point. That's why if you could look in the replies, that's why I put that there as a form of however.
Okay. All right. Now, on my Twitter Spaces last night, I'm going to be brief about this. Y'all can say whatever you want. I don't care. I had a lot of fun. I was talking a lot of shit with a lot of people. We were giving it to each other back and forth. Everybody was getting it.
An Ole Miss woman asked him, what was it?
She said, well, let me say it like an Ole Miss woman, like she did. Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
Over under 6. And I said, okay, 6 what? And she goes, times that your wife has let you fuck her. And and this broad looked like a fucking horse. She was not attractive, and she got Hottie in her name. And I just was like, I over. I didn't know what to say. I was like, it was just the worst attempt at a joke. Anytime these Ole Miss people get in there, they show themselves to be absolutely dipshits. But we have that on display here at Barstool.
Well, I will say that you should definitely take the over. I mean, you have 4 children. So
right.
You said that.
Yeah.
At least 4
I mean,
times.
so at least 4, because that's how sex works.
I only need 2 more to push.
Right. Exactly. And so you would assume that at least twice you didn't procreate. I would guess.
There's a wedding
night. Under.
Yeah. Okay. See? So there's 5 at least. And then you've talked about
wedding night
and anniversaries.
Anniversaries, birthdays.
Your youngest is how old?
6. I've had sex with my wife at least 14 times.
At least. So yeah, so I would take the over. I will say, just as a general rule, and you see this a lot on Spaces, which, by the way, college football Spaces, and I know we're biased because we love college football so much, it brings out the most delusional people. They're so much fun. Like I always go back to the Florida State ones whenever Deion stole that recruit. Hilarious. People in Twitter Spaces, PSA, stop trying to lead with jokes. I don't understand why they do it every time. And it's not just in sports ones. It's if you just jump in like a random one, it's like they sit there and they wait for their moment to be called in to talk to the host. And they always try to lead with a joke, and it always fails. And if you do that, I don't give a fuck what the rest of the thing that you say is. Like, it's just, if it's a failed joke, you're done for me. Just go in with your opinion or your question. You're not a comedian. You're not fucking Bill Burr. Just shut up and ask the question.
So, our friend Big Game Boomer showed up last night to the space. And he was,
by the way, I think he unfollowed every single account.
Where's the friend status? Are we friends?
Tell the story.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He was hot. I mean, he was shaking when he got there. He was absolutely a flutter. And here's my take about it. If you've seen it, if you watched it, it's on our Unnecessary Roughness Twitter, where he came in and just he kept saying, "Brandon, you don't know about football, anything about football." I said, "What? Back that up, please." And he just kept repeating it. And then he said, he said, "I want to debate you about college football." I said, "Of course you want to use my platform." And then he just starts going off, "I don't need you. I don't need you at all." And I asked, "Well, if you don't need me, why are you on my space right now?" And then he left. And it was a lot more heated than that. Well, he was heated. I actually did pretty good. I was pretty calm. I was good.
He called you a clown.
He called me a clown a lot of times. Here's my thing. When it was just a nameless, faceless account that did a bunch of stupid lists to get people's attentions, that was one thing. I'll make fun of that. But when he showed up, I mean, now that I look back at it, this is just like a young kid trying to get his name out there. He was obviously scared to death to be on a platform with Brandon Walker. He was nervous.
Yeah.
The kid tried. So I'm not really going to downgrade him for that. I'm not going to talk bad about him. He can just do his list, and that's fine. I won't say anything about his list anymore. It is what it is. Like I kind of felt bad. He was absolutely spitting in the wind last night. He was mad, but
this is the way that I took, and again, I saw it this morning, so it was like not in the heat of the moment. There, first of all, and I know I've said this to you guys, shocked at how young he is. I don't know why in my head I just assumed that this guy was like a lot older and just loves to make lists, which I like. I like the list thing because that's what starts conversation. My biggest problem with it is when, you mentioned it just now, when he said you like that he doesn't need you. If your sole purpose on social media is to make lists, you definitely need people to discuss them. That's not a bad thing. That's the whole point of making lists. We do it here on this podcast. Let's make lists so people then can either agree or disagree. Don't come flying in and saying, I don't need you. Well, yeah, you do. If no one's talking about your lists, then what's the point of making them? So that's another one of those things that I can't stand. And it's like just the sheer numbers of it. I told Katie this, and Brandon, this is my question when we can move on from him. Because like I said, I like his list for the sake of conversation. Now that I have a face and a name or a voice to it, it makes it way less fun. We were under the impression, I think as a whole, that some of these lists were trolls, which I respect completely. We do that. After listening to him talk to you and then going and looking at the replies, I don't think that he realizes or thinks that he's trolling. I think he thinks that these are all really legitimate, because there was a couple of memes that people were using, like saying that he's taking over the attention that Barstool gets, and he was like agreeing with it. I was like, this guy is so like, the lack of self-awareness of these troll lists makes it even worse that we're talking about it.
It's fine. I hope I'd like for him to come back. I'm going to do some more. I'd like for him to come back calmly, and let's just talk together. Jack, did you invite him on the show?
Yeah,
Crickets, right?
In the group chat, Brandon was like, "Oh, let's get him on the show," and then I tweeted at him, and then Brandon responded, "No, Jack, I meant for you to do that publicly, or privately." And then I responded, "Fuck,"
and he just never answered.
But to be honest, I think that was also kind of a kill shot for Big Game Boomer, because we tweeted it out, and everybody was like, "No, please, God, no, don't bring him on the show." So maybe in a weird way, it was beneficial, but.
I'm going to say it right here. Big Game Boomer, if you have watched this, I'm sure that you have. Standing invite. We record on Mondays and Thursdays right now until the season starts. You're welcome to come on the show, and you can talk your shit, or you can, whatever. We
have an adult conversation.
He said that Brandon uses the F word and swears to cover up for his lack of knowledge about college football. And he said that Brandon knows nothing about college football outside of Mike Leach.
And
which was like, that's when I was like, when he said he was like, yada, yada, yada. Oh, Mike Leach. I was like, what? Brandon doesn't even talk about Mike Leach.
No, and I love too when he was like, all you do is
fired
swear.
him multiple times last year.
He did. That is a fact. When he was like, all you do is swear. And then he immediately was like, and the shit you talk about, it's like, all right, guy, if you're like a no swear dude, then you can't become a swear dude right away. I actually, like, completely separately of what happened, because this was during the day yesterday, I put out on my Instagram story like 3 of the dumbest comebacks for college football fans, which we've talked about on this podcast. I have to add the one that he said to you that is the dumbest thing ever. It's like, you know nothing. Well, then prove that. And he couldn't prove it. That's one of the dumbest things that people say, like, well, you don't know anything about college football. It's like, well, Brandon obviously knows about college football, or he wouldn't have the platform that he does. And Big Game Boomer knows that. He listens to this podcast. 2 days ago, you guys were tweeting at him about the fact that he loves the podcast. Like, you listen to it, you know that Brandon knows what he's talking about. He was too big for his britches.
Yeah, I think he got into a little deeper water than he wanted to get into. But
exactly.
He's invited to come whenever he wants. He can be on this show.
I would love that.
He can be on this show, he can be on my show, he can be on whatever he wants. The carpet is laid out. Please come back. I'm not going to jump on you. I'm not going to say any F-bombs, which I don't know why that's a big deal. We're grown-ass people.
It is amazing. I love that when people...
It's a lot.
I will say this a million times. I know you two, the Jack and Katie's of the world, they didn't get to experience the MySpace lists. And I was like, the lists that you used to be able to do, those were the most fun things to do on social media. So I love that he does them. They're great. Just let's not pretend like it's breaking news here. Like, let's not pretend like you're dropping a piece in the New York Times.
Top 50 Mexican restaurants in every college town. Like, he doesn't know.
Well, I think that's what
It
I
wouldn't
was
be possible.
I
It
was
just-
ageism. I
it
assume
just
this man
wouldn't
been
be
everywhere.
possible to know all of them. Like he ranked Bowling Green inside his top 50 defensive backs list. Like what? Like what? Like how? Who's their defensive backs? Like why are they so good?
I just love the fact that he doesn't realize that people think he's a troll because he does troll. You can't put LSU student section as the 10th worst in the SEC, but have the best atmosphere. That's just not how these things work. Just own that. But again, whatever. I'd love for him to come on the show. It'd be great. But I think he's done with us because I believe he unfollowed from what
No shot. He's done. He'll be back.
Yeah, he can't. It's
No shot.
Yeah, he's
can't
got
stay away.
He's
No
got
shot.
But Brandon, I do enjoy when you get fired up. I didn't notice it when we were recording on Monday as much. I knew it was a great rant, but Jack put out the video about the Phil Steele magazine. Your emphasis on Phil, it was all time. I mean, when you really get going, when you start putting those names to it, fantastic.
We never put out that clip.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
That's how I saw it.
I quote tweeted your tweet about.
Well, I just follow Big Game Boomer on Twitter.
Wow.
You're so
wow.
Well, that's probably kind of a dick move if we're being honest.
Well,
BTB.
no.
All right, so let's transition into some quarterbacks, shall we?
Shall we? I think that Jack or Katie should go first this time.
And we will I think Jack went first for something, so Katie can go first if she'd like.
Okay.
So what we've got here is a conference that I believe we've had a couple conferences where number one was unanimous. I think 1 and 2 are all going to be the same guys all across the board. I don't know that anybody's going to upset that at all. And then it gets interesting after that in the Pac-12. In the Pac-12, we're looking for who's going to step up as a contender. We think Utah is there, and we think USC has the ability with all the transfers. And then after that, I don't know. It's going to be a little rough. So it's a conference desperately in need of a flagship program to lead it somewhere right now. And the program with the most potential to do that, it's about to go to the Big Ten. So, all right, it is Pac-12 quarterback time. Katie Stats, lead us off.
You just said how you think we're all going to have the same 1 and 2 across the board, but then from what you said after that, I think I'm about to not have the exact same. I'll still have a list, but I think it's like a 1, 2, and then everyone's kind of on that level. But regardless.
Okay, all right.
Number 1, DTR.
Okay. What are we
Hey, it's her list. It's her list.
Yeah, let her go through the list.
Let her go through the list.
I know, sorry. Caleb Williams is not my 1 or 2.
That's
Just
Katie,
let her go through her
Katie,
list.
it's
Let
your
her go
list.
through her
Brandon,
list.
Brandon, lean back with your naked ass.
Are you going to be happy with my number 2? It's Cam Rising. You okay with that?
Don't even ask him. Don't even ask him.
Chance Nolan, Caleb Williams, Jaden Delora, Tanner.
Stop, Brandon.
Wait. What?
Jaden Delora?
Hey.
No.
Hey.
You have who before Caleb Williams?
Chance Nolan? I don't think he was that bad last year.
Listen here, you two. Let her say her list.
Also, this is one with that rankings. I have 1 is DTR, 2 is Cam Rising, and then everyone else is kind of on that third tier for me. So I kind of just messed around the third order.
Katie, you say what you need to say.
No, I mean, that's how I know I had to pick an order, but I think it's 1, 2, and then everyone tied for third.
Brandon's practicing meditation.
Oh, I'm going to have people are going to come from my neck on Twitter already. I know this.
Keep going. Did you say them all?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, run through one more time.
7.
Run through them one time without interruption.
DTR, Cam Rising, Chance Nolan, Caleb Williams, Jaden Delora, Tanner McKee, Cameron Ward.
Okay.
I'm sticking when I make the graphic, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
No, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like everybody else.
God damn it. Fine.
Fair.
Fine.
It's fair. Katie, got it.
Can I go?
Yeah, Jack, you go.
Wait, I think we did Brandon explode.
No, let him just stew on it for a second because I like watching him not be able to speak for a second.
Right. Number 1 is Caleb Williams. I don't know how DTR stinks. He doesn't stink,
You have
but
the highest rating out of all of them. I know rating's not everything. Which is not
quarterback
how
rating stinks.
I know across numbers he was better, but sorry, continue.
All right, then I have Cam Rising. Then I have DTR. And then I have Cam Ward. Then I have Bo Nix, which is more of a gut feel. I think Bo Nix is a guy that honestly wasn't that bad last year and may do may have a way to take a step forward this year in a new system. He's played a lot. He has a lot of experience against a lot of really good defenses. We may see the old Bo Nix at multiple times this year, but yeah, I got Bo Nix at 5,
It's the same OC,
Tanner
right?
McKee at 6, and then Jaden Delora at 7. And yeah, I mean, Chance Nolan could sneak in there too, but Caleb Williams, I don't know, like, what else do you want him to prove to you?
But I have a distinct memory, and again, this is at least my memory going off of. I remember when he overtook for about 2-3 weeks, we all were like, is it too late for him to enter the Heisman running? And then I have a distinct memory of Brandon being like, wait a second, he's really not that good. Like he tabled for a bit. He was not. He
freshman.
came out the gate.
He was.
I know. I'm saying from what we've seen so far.
His QBR last year ranked 4th in the country.
Yeah,
That
he was
is
really
true.
good.
No.
He was very good.
But I just remember us being like, wait a second, he like very as consistent.
Katie, we're idiots.
Battler.
You can't use a memory of us.
There, fine.
He also rushed.
He finished the.
He's really good.
So can I go and then we can all discuss?
Well, when do I get to go?
Last.
But then we all discuss.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I go, then you go, then we discuss.
No, you didn't say that.
Oh,
No,
well, that's what I
you
meant.
did.
Okay, that's what I meant. I meant let's do the list and then we can all discuss.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. I have Caleb Williams at number 1. I've been very high on him. I obviously, if I think USC is going to be where they're going to be in the conference, you have to keep him number 1. I also have Cam Rising number 2. Jack 1, 2, 3 is the same for me. I have DTR at number 3. I have Tanner McKee at number 4. I have Cameron Ward at number 5. And that one was really hard for me because I know his numbers were fucking bananas in the FCS, but it is very hard for me to just say, okay, well, he's going to be able to jump into the Power 5. However, when you have numbers like that, especially in a conference that is down in comparison, you have to put him there. I agree with you, Jack. I have him a little bit lower, but I have Bo Nix at number 6, and I have made fun of Bo Nix a lot. He can't put together a full season, and I realize that, but those moments that he has had, you can't ignore. And now he's in a conference that's not near as stout defensively as the SEC. So I think Bo Nix, like, we can't bury Bo Nix. Like, Bo Nix was not a horrible quarterback.
Agreed.
So I have him at number 6, and then Jaden Delora at number 7. And I know he's playing for Arizona and they're absolutely terrible, but I do think from a position standpoint that he brings a lot of promise to them. So I'm putting him at number 7.
Can I make so when I did my thing, I looked at the PFF and I did 2023, 2024 draft classes. And they don't include Caleb Williams on that. So the list I was looking at blatantly just took him out because they had an error. So I'm gonna move Caleb Williams back to my number 1. I'm blaming someone else.
What?
I don't think you can do that, Katie.
Why not?
Because
Why didn't you look at other lists? Or like
Because I used what I had the most data on it.
the ESPN QBR is really good. It had him 4th. He's
All
really
right,
good.
I will give you.
completely honest,
Fine.
It's all right. I'm going to give the correct list anyway. So nobody's given the correct list yet. I will do it. Number 1 is Caleb Williams. I mean, it's just Caleb Williams. He had good numbers last year. He was electric. He had a couple moments like the Kansas game. He wasn't great, but he was also a freshman, and he's going to have an abundance of riches around him. Caleb Williams is 1. Cam Rising, Utah, is number 2. They're like Miami. Last year, Miami was floating in the wind until they found their quarterback. Utah did the same thing last year. Once they found Cam Rising, they took off. I got Tanner McKee number 3. I got him higher than anybody else here. Tanner McKee, former 5-star recruit, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, was fine. But again, they got better when he really took hold of the offense. Cam Ward is a projection. You don't know what Cam Ward's going to look like at this level, but I have Cam Ward at number 4. I have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, UCLA, number 5. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is one of the unicorns or mirages of college football. He will give you numbers. He will put up highlights. He will look like a great quarterback, and you can't win more than 8 games if he is your guy. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is number 5. Number 6, I've got the Bo Nix, Ty Thompson combo at Oregon because Ty Thompson, former 5-star recruit, cannot be ruled out there. And then I have Jaden Delora from Washington State going to Arizona. That is my top 7. That is the correct top 7.
Well, Brandon, I must tell you this. We have the same exact list, just one is flipped. So thank you for paying attention.
I got mine right, though.
Okay, well, you did. I disagree. I think DTR should be higher. However, all you did was just drop DTR, and we have the same exact list.
Mine's right.
Okay. Regardless, when you look at the other quarterbacks too, and Michael Penix Jr. and Emory Jones,
right?
Like those, like Emory Jones to me, I kept going back and forth. Like, do I put him? And all the other quarterbacks, I feel like I am confident, but like he had a billion interceptions, but his other numbers, what's wrong with you?
I was farting.
Ew. His other, like he wasn't god awful outside of the turnovers, which I know you can't ignore, but like Emory Jones, if he could just not turn the ball over, could be a pretty damn good quarterback.
Emory Jones is the all-time get off the bus guy. Emory Jones walks out there in his shoulder pads. He's 6'4", 6'5". He's 230, runs like a deer, throws it 70 yards. You look at him, you're like, my God, this is what was made to be a quarterback. And then the game starts and you're like, oh, okay, never mind.
And then, yeah, I agree. But then also you have the Michael Penix Jr. situation, which we know how much people jumped on us last year going into this. But he's now reunited with his coach from the season in 2019, which is why people were so high on him. And it's just like, again, he should not be in the top 7, but it would not surprise me if he had another season like 2019 and he jumped into it.
I would be shocked if Michael Penix, it was so bad.
If he jumped into the top 7, though, I'm not saying
I don't
anywhere near the top.
I would be shocked if he got in the top 7 as well.
I would really be.
What's happening in this?
Brandon, it's okay.
What's this man doing, Brandon?
Getting ice.
He's getting some ice.
I was just looking at while you were talking about, I would be shocked if Michael Penix started all 12 games for Washington this year. But I was looking at Dorian Thompson-Robinson's numbers, and man, he really had a good year last year.
Yeah, he did.
And I thought he threw for a lot more interceptions than he did. He didn't. He only threw for 6. And he's also probably one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the country. I mean, he ran for 600 yards in 12 games, 9 touchdowns. He had 30 total touchdowns last year, 6 interceptions. QBR on ESPN was 79. I even think we could see a world where Cam Rising disappoints a little bit and DTR gets the second. Those two quarterbacks, man, Caleb and Dorian in LA are very, very good. But I think Caleb will take a massive step forward. And even I was looking at his stats for the Kansas game that people think he kind of did poorly. He really didn't. He was 15 for 20, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he ran for like 60 yards or something. Obviously, against Kansas, you should be doing that, but
I agree with you with DTR. When you look at the numbers too, is that he's so explosive on the ground, and then he gets the job done as a passer too. It's hard to ignore. But Brandon, you did bring up the point, is like he will have those numbers, but you're not going to win more. I think you said 8 games. It's very hard, but I think it's a clear number 1. And then I know we've said this every single week. I think outside of maybe the ACC, or probably we've said it too. This one was really tough too. I mean, other than like Cam Rising and DTR for me were pretty like solidly 2-3. And I went back and forth deciding. I knew what my number 1 was. Everything else, like I literally have like arrows and stuff because I changed it so many different times. But the Pac-12 is interesting.
Are you guys ready to hear from the Roughnecks?
No. What about my take?
Oh, you had a take to fire off.
Wait, I also have one after her.
We gotta.
Right. I got it. It's fast.
We're fine.
It's a fast take. It's a fast take.
We'll be out of here by 3:30. Just relax.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well.
Go.
Okay.
What's he got to do?
What
do you got to do?
You want me to outline my day?
Yes.
I don't think you do.
Yes.
I actually have spinning back fist at 4:30. Then I have to edit this. Then I have to run 2 soccer accounts because we didn't let him go. The person left, and we haven't had that person replaced. I can keep going about everything that I have to do. All right. Instagram video.
Yeah, that was bad. Brandon, that was bad. Okay, here's my take. I think that as a podcast, as a whole, I'm not singling out any specific person, Brandon. I think that we do not give Big Ten fans enough credit for being batshit crazy in the best way possible. And every time we talk about batshit crazy fans, I understand it's across the board for college football. That's just sports fandom as it is. But usually when we talk about it, we talk about the SEC. We talk about the Alabamas and the Auburns and the people who call into Paul Feinbaum. And then we talk about Oklahoma or now Clemson. When you look at what came out this week from Kevin Warren with the Big Ten, these fans are fucking crazy. And in 2020, when he decided that the Big Ten wasn't going to play and it became this whole thing, like, we obviously knew that college football fans wanted the sport to be played. That was what it was. But as a whole, I think we said, okay, well, the Big Ten, we looked like the Michigan president, whatever. It's like, well, they're all on board with what Kevin Warren wants to do. The Big Ten as a whole doesn't want to play in the pandemic. When I saw the quote that came out that there was a man, a real human being out there, I'm sure from a troll account, but said that if he had 3 bullets in a gun, this is verbatim, 3 bullets, and standing in front of him was Hitler, Saddam Hussein, and Kevin Warren, he would use all 3 bullets on Kevin Warren for not playing the 2020 season. That is true sociopathic college football behavior. He said all the insults that were flying at him, they're like literally a $5,000 bounty on his head, which, by the way, I mean, folks, if we're going to, like, that's a low number. Big Ten fans are closeted fucking crazy people, and I don't think we've given them enough credit.
I don't know that they're closeted. I think they're out there. You could be right. We haven't given them enough credit. I just think college football fans as a whole are batshit crazy, and I don't even. You said in the best way possible. I'm not sure death threats online are the best way possible. However, I will say this: that guy was clearly stealing an Office quote from Michael Scott.
Yes, but he probably believed it.
Yeah,
you take away people's college football.
Twitter was a mistake. People get to get on there anonymously and say whatever, and they think they'll never get repercussions because they won't. So I don't know.
Now there is a world where obviously that was a quote, and the tone could have been a joke and using whatever. However, it's when that whole article that came out from our friend Pat Forty. And it was just very
our friend. What? No,
jokingly, obviously he said our friend. Yeah, we don't like
Pat Forty's no friend to me.
So the tone of it was obviously going to be very pro Kevin Warren, and like
that seemed like a PR hit, like anti-hit piece made by Kevin Warren's PR firm to make it seem like he's some great guy who battled through adversity during the 2020 season while he was getting paid millions of dollars to actually solve an issue for a change. All right, so I get it, dude. It sucks when people say mean things about you online. People say the same things to me. I'm not saying that I'm Kevin Warren-esque. More people know Kevin Warren, but if you compare it even to me, like people, like I've seen people say things like the Husan, like that quote about, oh, like I wish this guy was dead, yada yada yada. Sorry, Kevin Warren, like that stinks. People said mean things about you. You're a public figure.
No,
welcome to the game.
I love Jack's fired up. I agree with you. People say mean shit all the time. People say meaner shit to the 4 of us on a daily basis.
Yeah, and it's like he gets paid millions upon millions of dollars to be a commissioner of a league that runs by itself. And guess what? Something bad happened for one time in the world, and there was a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. And guess what? You had to make some tough decisions. That stinks, dude.
Also, his leadership was really bad during that.
It was really bad.
It was, but my point on this was not that Kevin Warren deserves pity whatsoever. My point is that I don't think that when we looked at everything that was going on in that season, which feels like that was like 10 years ago at this point, like the Big Ten fans were not given enough credit by the 4 of us for being psychopaths about it. Like it was just kind of like, well, the Big Ten made this decision, and here we are.
Right there, as a whole, you're probably right. I don't sit there. We do. When we talk about crazy fans as a whole, we say SEC first.
Right.
But let's really break this down. The Big Ten has Michigan fans, crazy. Ohio State fans, crazy. Penn State fans, hello, cult. Nebraska fans, crazy. Am I missing somebody? Have I said Michigan State?
Well, Michigan State, I mean, we know how Jack is.
Biggest fan base on Twitter.
Iowa fans, we know my history with Iowa fans, like, yeah, there's batshit crazy people.
Yeah, I agree with you. My rant was more about
I agree with you.
And everybody was picking it up, like all the journalists, like, I can't believe this. What can't you believe?
Right. Yeah.
Like people probably said the same things to those journalists. Yeah, people are batshit insane online when they're anonymous. Yeah, like they're insane.
Well, because they can say whatever they want with no repercussions.
And they think it's like, yeah. So like that shouldn't be surprising. And it's like, and then Kevin Warren's PR firm is like, oh, let's make him seem like the really good, like guy who battled through all this adversity during the 2020 season.
Yeah, the article was written with kind of a tone of like, see, I told you that this guy went through so much. Like, again, like take a walk through anybody's public profiles, their notifications. I just don't, and I could be completely wrong. It could be just put, filed away under things I don't remember. When we were going through that, it was kind of just like, as a whole, the aura was like, well, because I remember Scott Frost was something we constantly talked about. Like Scott Frost wanted to play in like a different country, and it was like Jim Harbaugh was still practicing. We never really talked about the fans' reactions to it because we were just like, the Big Ten's not playing. Kevin Warren said so. What a bad leader. And we just kind of moved past it. Now looking back, it's like, I'm sure the shit he was getting was insane because they were the conference that wasn't playing and people were pissed. I think Big Ten fans are fucking nuts.
They are.
Along with the rest of us.
That take is correct. All right. Now are y'all ready to jump into the Roughnecks?
Katie has something.
Yeah, if it gets too big, we'll save it. But we're back to Michael Penix. Like, I feel like there's a bunch of teams this year that are either they bought a quarterback or keeping a quarterback in hope that they're going to turn to a 2020 or 2019 level. And I feel like that's always a pattern. And has it ever worked out? I put it on Twitter and there's like not really any. Like, it just seems like Tanner Morgan, people are hoping he returns to an old self. Spencer Rattler, old self. Michael Penix. I know there's a bunch I'm forgetting.
No, I mean, I'm sure it has happened. I'd have to go find it.
Like Georgia fans were always expecting Jake Fromm to revert to freshman year self, and he never did. And that's why
he kept getting worse year by year.
And
this
then
is interesting. Like,
I mean, it is a storyline without a doubt. Yeah, like Washington's like, Michael Penix. Yeah, Emory Jones.
Every year it happens. I'm just like, I don't think it's ever worked. So
I don't think so. It's worth. I'm looking. I'd like to look into that.
Yeah,
I don't have yet. The only one I can really think of that, and it didn't work but yeah, like people were like, I hope he reverts to. I can't think of a guy who was really good his freshman year, stunk his sophomore, or like took a step back, and then his junior year was good again.
We'll have to look at that. I like that.
Here we go. We got to power through this. All right, y'all ready? Yep. I told the people we read their questions. We're going to read their questions. Who's ready? Good. Cole from Tampa. What will it take? By the way, Katie, I have a project for me and you over the next few days.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. It's Operation Unblock 2022. It's going to be.
Fuck! I know exactly. How many people do you think you have blocked right now? Unless you've checked.
It might be getting up towards 7,000 or 8,000.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say 10.
It's not. It's much less. But it's still a lot.
How many?
Last time I checked, it was 4,300.
Well, that's not near as bad as I thought.
Most people are free the past few days.
I have. Yeah. All right. Cole from Tampa says, "What will it take for a non-quarterback player to win the Heisman this season?" I have an answer. I believe it's going to take Caleb Williams disappointing in USC. It's going to take C.J. Stroud either getting hurt or disappointing at Ohio State. Bryce Young is going to be easier to beat because he's already won one. He's not going to get as many votes. And it has to be, some, like, who could it be? Jackson Smith and Jigba? If C.J. Stroud were to get hurt and he continues to do big numbers, he could do it. Will Anderson could do it. I think Will Anderson has the best chance of a defensive player in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, just to boil that down, you need all the quarterbacks of the best teams to either take a step back or, you don't want them to get hurt. But if somebody gets injured, and you need a skill player or a defensive player on a team that is winning to be so obviously better than the quarterback, that's how they're going to win.
Bijan could do it.
Yeah. I mean, but Texas has to be good. That's
contingent. Yeah, that's understood. Bijan could do it. I think, Jahmyr Gibbs, if in the right scenario, if Bryce Young, it could do it. Will Anderson definitely could do it. And then
you can't have quarterbacks like CJ Stroud or Bryce Young or, down the list, Caleb Williams, then them be really fucking good. And those teams they don't have to be the best team in the country, but you can't have those guys have big numbers and success if you want a different player to win.
Like Mac Jones had one of the best seasons ever, and Devonta Smith won the Heisman. So there is a scenario.
The only problem with that is, Jack, and I thought about that. I thought about him, and so entering that season, Mac Jones wasn't sitting on top of the Heisman campaign like Bryce Young, like C.J. Stroud, like Caleb Williams. Him and Kyle Trask were like kind of in the middle, and then they earned their way into it. But they weren't there from the beginning. I believe they've been there from the beginning. It would have been different.
They didn't get knocked off. Like he wasn't the favorite.
He was probably top 5, top 10.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He wasn't the favorite, and then Devontae Smith won it over him.
Fair. All right. Derek Calvin Music says, would you rather tailgate in the quad, a parking lot, a bar, a house near the stadium, or at the official university tailgating event?
Parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Over the quad? Y'all ever been to a good quad?
It would be between those two, but parking lot.
It depends. I think if you get a really, really good parking lot tailgate going in the parking lot of the stadium, it's really hard to beat.
I don't consider bar or house near the stadium a tailgate.
No, and I know people that like to do the bar before the game thing. That's
a bar is not a tailgate.
Yeah, that to me is not like that. That doesn't count unless you just don't care. But I mean, if you can get a good tailgate spot that's right close to an entrance and you can get the right vibes going, you can't beat that. Because then you can go in like 10 minutes before kickoff if that's what you want, or you can go in earlier. And then after the game, you just file out and you're right there.
Diet Mountain Dew enthusiast Kevin P. something says, who has the best chance other than Ohio State at winning the Big Ten this year?
Michigan.
I would say Michigan State.
Oh boy, here we go again.
No, it's not here we go again. They're both going to be pretty good. Although I think Michigan State's going to lose at Maryland, so I'm working on that take too.
Who in like in previous years you could say like, oh, Wisconsin, but they're kind of on a downswing this year.
Penn State usually.
Anybody in the West being able to score with Ohio State.
That's what I'm West. The West, like the best team in the West. I mean, it could end up being Nebraska.
Winston Kimmel says, how many of the 5 stars in Texas A&M's record class end up transferring? I'd say probably half.
What does this man have in his bio?
I don't know.
Well, I'm just curious, or does
if it was a Texas fan, it'd be like more or less than the amount of 5 stars that have transferred from your school.
I'm just
over the
curious.
past
He is a Mississippi State fan.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he's trolling me. I'm gonna say less than half.
Stanley Cup champion Gino Fornaro says, who has the best season between Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and Baylor?
Baylor.
Probably Baylor.
No, Kansas State.
I think it's either Kansas State or Oklahoma State. I think Baylor's taking a step back.
I will say that there were a lot of people not happy with where Blake Shapen was on our Big 12 list, which I mean, I don't care about that, but Blake, I mean, I think Baylor might take a step back, but of those 3, I mean, I think Baylor was pretty damn good, but
Baylor
they were very good. Matthew Davis says, is Brock Bowers a dark horse to be in New York at the Heisman ceremony? If not this year, next year with a good freshman season.
Yes.
I will take this one, please. You say yes. You say yes.
Yeah.
You say, yeah. Okay. All right.
I say yes.
Brandon.
Firm yes.
Brandon's face says he's about to just.
I just think this is sometimes fan bases do this where they're just not satisfied having a good player. They have to stretch everything about that player. They have to stretch everything about their team to make them feel even better about it. Because Georgia doesn't have a Heisman quarterback this year, or a Heisman running back, or a Heisman receiver, but their best player offensively is a tight end. When's the last time we have seen a tight end finish in the top 5 of the Heisman? Kyle Pitts was incredible a couple of years ago, but before that, ever? Like, tight ends don't do that. Tight ends, there's going to be receivers and running backs and quarterbacks that get the ball every play, and this tight end is going to have a good tight end season. He could be the best tight end in the country. I'm sorry, Georgia. I know your quest for attention since you won your national title. You don't want that attention to go away. You've gotten addicted to it. Brock Bowers isn't going to finish in New York for the fucking Heisman Trophy. That's just not going to happen.
I mean, you could see it next year. Why not? He scored 13 touchdowns last year, or caught them, and then this year.
Where do you think he would have finished in the Heisman voting? 80th?
Well, that was his freshman year, though. Like Joe
Burrow, it's a tight end, Jack.
I know it's a tight end, but
he's plus 10,000.
Like there's a belief that things can't happen that haven't happened before, and it's probably a good bet, but I could see it. It's just based alone off of he may be a guy that's a fraud invite, because it's like, oh, we get to market that it's the first tight end invited since whenever the last tight end was invited.
Right.
And he's going to have a lot of NFL draft love because he's built like a fucking brick house. He's 6'8" or 6'7".
Great player, the phenomenal player.
He's phenomenal.
And
I'm just saying, I could see it.
And he's so good, Georgia fans, that you're trying to replace him with Eric Gilbert. That's how dickheaded.
No, they're not. They
are.
They're not.
They
Eric
are.
Gilbert is like they have one of the best tight end rooms we've probably ever seen in college football.
Probably ever. But my question is, what's the point of that? Like, why have the best tight end room in the country? Like Eric Gilbert, yeah, you have Washington and you have Bowers, incredible. and then you take Gilbert, and it's just going to muddy things up. I think Kirby sometimes over recruits. I really do. And then he just won a national title.
Yeah, then he wins a national title.
So what do I know? But I feel like when you've got greatness, you add more greatness. It sometimes can sully the pot. Brad Cinderling, score prediction for Florida State versus LSU.
28-24.
I did say that I think that that's going to be a
35.
very, very fun game.
I think Florida State wins 34-27.
I'm going to say 42-35 Florida State.
LSU wins 34-27.
Barstool Fresno says, who's back first, Texas or Nebraska?
Texas this year.
Although I think both could be back-ish this year.
Yeah, they're both pretty good, man.
I need this season to start. I know we all do, but boy, it's not even just because of that. It's just like this. I feel like the summer flew by and these last couple of weeks have just dragged, and I can't listen to you two talk about this without backing it up anymore. I can't do it.
It's only going to get worse from here.
No, I know, but at least I'll have something to see.
How many points does Texas have to lose to Alabama for?
Great question, Katie.
That game doesn't matter at all. They can lose by 90.
Oh, bullshit.
Alabama.
No,
it doesn't matter. They could.
See,
that game doesn't matter. They can lose by 90,
here's my
Kayce.
question. This is not even just about Texas and Nebraska. Let's use Nebraska as a factor. When you say a team is back that has won a national title in the 2000s, you cannot lose by 90 to another Power 5 team and say you're back. I'm sorry.
They can lose that game by 100 as long as they bounce back and go through the Big 12. They're back.
Yeah, I agree.
And then what? And then lose by like 40 to Alabama in the college football playoff.
They're a young team. They'll turn.
That doesn't make them back. They won a national title in like when I was in high school. That doesn't make.
They go 10-2 with a route loss to Alabama. They're back.
So they're back. So they're back in the bowl game scenario. Congratulations.
They're back.
Like if you ask Longhorn fans, I truly believe this. If you ask Longhorn fans,
they're back.
I'll cope. But if you ask Longhorn fans, if they lost to Alabama by 90, they would not say they're back. They're back whenever they're winning things. Losing to an SEC team by 90 points would be humiliating.
That's not an SEC team. That's a different animal than an SEC team.
Regardless, I'm just saying.
Also, they're going to win that game, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh
well, that's crazy. That's
so then
crazy.
If Texas doesn't make a New Year's Six,
they're not back.
But what is
they're back.
If they don't make a New Year's Six bowl,
how are we making this a big deal?
Coming down.
You guys are saying next year. Arch Manning's in high school.
They're back.
What result?
They're back.
What to you describes back?
They're going 10-2. They're back.
Okay, 10-2 in a New Year's Six bowl. I would agree. I don't think that if they lose, I think that if they lose to Alabama, which I do think they will, depending on how they play, it's like when they lost to LSU in 2019. Like that wasn't a bad loss at all. That was a very close game.
Not like that at all.
No, I'm saying that Texas fans
that didn't define their season. Neither will this.
But if you lose by 90, it does define your season.
They're not going to lose by 90.
You think they're going to win?
Yeah, I do.
That's different.
I think legitimate. You want me a legitimate number? I think Texas could lose that game by 30 points and be just fine.
What record at the end of the year? What's the worst for you to still say they're back?
I think they need to get to at least 9-3 with a strong finish.
Okay.
Landon Daniel, and let's tighten these answers up. Let's try to get as many as we can in the next 8 minutes. Landon Daniel says, better NIL model for sustained success: large sum to one or two highly rated players, or smaller sum to the whole team. I think large sum to one or two players because it's going to trickle down, and other big players are going to play.
I say the other way around. It's going to kill a locker room.
I don't think that's an actual thing. I think that's a thing that we white fans who have never been in a locker room think. It's going to kill a locker room. I don't think the locker room's actually going to get killed.
Okay.
I think there could be jealousy involved, but I think if you get a one or two like major players involved, that the ships rise and all that bullshit.
Fair.
Michael Nolan, is there any reason to bet a Heisman winner other than C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young? Yes. A couple of years ago, Tua was a cinch to win it, didn't win it. Trevor Lawrence, a cinch to win it, didn't win it. Like, yes, there's absolutely a reason to find somebody other than those two guys. Stanley Cup champion Gino Fornaro already had a question. I'm not asking two. Sahil Gosain, with the UCLA USC moves coming soon, what's stopping the big brands, the SEC and Big Ten, from being sick of carrying Vandy, Indiana, creating a new super conference?
And I mean,
contracts
and TV right now. But
out
let me also tell you something, and I know that they'll never say it. but Alabama and Georgia and Florida and Texas now, they love being the big dogs on the block, and they love having small dogs on the block to beat up. So they're
Better in the conference because Vandy is in conference, but they beat them like a cupcake game.
TJ Carson, how much longer must I deal with college football media thinking of Illinois as an afterthought to be a contender or even a surprise team in the Big Ten?
Forever.
As long as they continue to stink.
As long as Illinois puts a team on the field, probably.
Yeah.
Nick G, does the SEC or Big Ten end up as the more dominant conference, assuming expansion continues into 2 super conferences? My thing about this is with the money, with the leadership advantage they have with Sankey versus Warren, never doubt the SEC.
Oh, I think right now the new Big Ten media deal is going to be bigger than SEC's.
No shot.
Chase Edwards says, is any world where Bama, Ohio State, and Georgia aren't playing for a national championship in January? If so, who?
Say those 4 teams again.
He said it was
3.
Alabama,
Bama,
Georgia,
Ohio State, and Georgia. Any world where none of those 3 are playing for a national title?
None of them?
Yeah, none of them is tough. Uh-oh. Oh,
Yeah.
boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
No, you just made me repeat the question 3 times.
No, I didn't.
No. Okay. If there's a team who is a dark horse to make the college football playoff, who would it be and why? Chance Hodges.
USC.
It's not a dark horse, is it?
No, that's not a dark horse.
I mean, I guess because of the names that are there, but I don't think many people would have had USC anywhere near that list before.
Before the offseason.
USC is always ranked, I feel. Like they get ranked.
But then they picked up arguably
Michigan,
a top 5 quarterback. They made it last year. A dark horse would be somebody like,
Nebraska.
I was going to say Nebraska. You could say, I don't think anybody's putting LSU.
LSU.
Baylor.
Oklahoma State.
I mean, Baylor won the Big 12 last year.
Cole Morey says, who's the best player in the last 20 years?
Cam Newton.
I mean, this is just the same argument we always have. It just depends. I mean, Joe Burrow, I would say, is up there.
Nobody would say Tebow?
Tim Tebow.
I don't know enough 20 years.
You know what? I say, give me this season because I might change the answer to Will Anderson. Like, this guy's a fucking freak. And if he does what I think he's going to do this year, this could be the best defensive player we've ever seen.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a sack or a tackle for loss against Texas A&M this year.
If you go off, Jack. If you polled like Family Feud survey style, I think it would be Cam Newton
or Tim Tebow. I think
Tim Tebow would win that.
And then Burrow would get a lot of votes too, and rightfully so.
All 3 of them. Yeah.
Dalton Coe says, if Stetson Bennett wins the national title again this year, does he get respect, and will he be in y'all's top 5 quarterbacks in the SEC? Probably not.
Was he not my top 5?
Nah, I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm disrespecting Stetson Bennett way too much. He's actually like the hate is too much for Stetson Bennett.
I disagree. I'm going the other way, Jack. I'm going the other way. Georgia fans, they want their cake and they want to eat it too. And they want to give us the best historical defense we've seen in the last 20 years. And we got to pay homage to that. We got to pay homage to Kirby Smart. And then we also have to say their shitty average ass quarterback is one of the best in the country. No, I'm not doing that. You got an incredible defense. That's why you won a national title. Go with that. Enjoy that. Embrace that. Don't also force down that average ass quarterback down my throat that you don't even fucking want. And if he hadn't won a national title, you'd be pissed at Kirby Smart forever because you didn't want him to fucking play.
Are you mad that he lost you all that money?
He doesn't like Stetson. We know this.
He lost me the charity money, but he won me a lot of money in the national title.
I think I had him at 3. There is a difference, and I think
he really had a great season last year.
The question that you read was top 5 SEC quarterbacks, right? That's wildly different than top 5, or he said top 5 SEC, not top 5 in the country.
5'11", 180-pound quarterback that was at Georgia, left, went to play JUCO ball, came back, led a team to a national championship. Threw for 2,900 yards, 30 touchdowns. This guy's good. And it's disrespectful towards him. Oh, sorry. I couldn't say my point, Brandon.
I'm fine disrespecting Stetson Bennett. I don't think he's very good. Zach Spiegel says, can I start listening again? Every time you bash Kentucky, I just get sad. No, you fucking hillbilly. Stay away because your quarterback is overrated as hell. Jake Heilman, which schools that view themselves as big brother are actually the little brother? They're just in denial. Big brother, little brother is the dumbest thing we say as college football fans. It's even worse than rent free.
That was his point.
No, I think it was Brandon.
Oh, that was
my answer. I did question and answer. No context Penn State football. If one day Ole Miss and Mississippi State combined to become one school, would Brandon root for them? The answer is no, I would not. I can't. I'm not joining up with Ole Miss.
What would you do?
Huh?
What would you do? Become an Alabama fan?
No, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably root for the Mississippi team. Why here? College football fans are the biggest bitches in the world. Listen to this, Laramie Howard. Why does Jack Mack college football all of a sudden hate LSU? I'm guessing what? Did you pick them to win 6 games or something, Jack?
Yeah. What'd you say about LSU?
I don't know who said that.
Laramie Howard, because college football fans are not intellectual enough or are way too emotional to acknowledge that if I say a prediction where I think a team's going to win 8 games or I think your team's not going to be as good, that does not equal I hate your team. I guarantee you Jack doesn't give a fuck about LSU.
I don't have a clue what you said about LSU.
I think I just said like 5 minutes ago that I think they could potentially be a dark horse to make the college football playoff. Like if you were to pick a dark horse, I don't hate them. I think.
But have you said something bad about them recently?
No, but I have heard this from LSU fans. I forget even maybe because I didn't rank Jaden Daniels in like my.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. Tampon Vampire says, how many wins does Scott Frost need to save his job?
He needs to make a bowl
7?
game.
Yeah.
I say 8. Chris Cole says, who's the most intimidating player of all time?
Who's the Baylor guy?
Sean Oakman.
Sean, he wasn't even good.
Oakman.
That picture that always goes viral.
LeVar Arrington on the cover of the 1999 Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, that's good. Jadavion Clowney was pretty
probably
intimidating.
coming into that last season.
Yeah.
Bryce Overby says, besides quarterback, what position is the most important to recruit?
Besides quarterback?
Yeah.
Receiver.
I would say receiver or left tackle.
I would say receiver or defensive end.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That's fair.
Receiver across the board.
And
I think
the next 3 positions all revolve around the quarterback. It's protecting him, putting his ass on the ground, or catching the ball from him.
Yep.
Did the 2002 Hurricanes get robbed? Adam Burkett. Yes.
Yes.
How would Mississippi State do if they were in the Big 12? They'd probably win it most years. Why won't Sean Clifford just
watch the Big 12, bro?
Bacon butt. Who's the Baylor of this season? Bad team that turns it around, competes for the championship. I mean, that's just Texas.
Yeah.
No, that's easy.
What was Kansas State's record last year?
Kansas State was
7?
like 7.
8?
Yeah.
All right, so they're not really even talking. But yeah, who is the Baylor this year? Jeez.
It has to be
It's
Texas.
weird to compare 2020 to 2021 because 2020 was such a weird season.
Yeah,
It's like you can't
They
really.
were 8-5 last year, so definitely not.
Oh yeah, they beat LSU in the game that LSU had like 40 players playing in the bowl game.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you can't like 2020 to 2021, like a bounce back year just doesn't exist because of how fucking weird that season was.
Top 5 college football TV personalities. I don't know if we have time for that.
Ooh, let's do that next week.
Brandon.
Brandon.
We're not on TV though.
Dan.
No, I'm TV. Y'all are YouTube's TV now.
Oh, let's finish with this. I'm going back to this whole bullshit from the Twitter spaces that I saw from you last night, and then I continue to see. And maybe these are just trolls. I'm not sure. This whole thing about you guys just want entertainment and clicks. You don't bring any insight to the actual game. If you want X's and O's bullshit without any entertainment, you don't come to Barstool Sports. All right, go read your newspapers.
Oh, come on, give them some. X's and O's are cool.
No, I love that, but I hate when one of their insults is saying well, Barstool Sports doesn't give any X's and O's.
Who cares? We will never be that. Who cares?
Well, yeah, fuck you guys. People on Twitter spaces, people on Twitter, it was a mistake. It was just a mistake.
Nah.
Kayce said the F word to be cool again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Y'all ready to get out of here?
Yeah, that was a great show. I think
It was very fun.
Pac-12 quarterbacks.
Can we do top 5 TV personalities? I know we've done media personalities.
Yeah, why not? Should
we do on social?
It's just giving other people, our competitors, free reign, like a free advertisement.
Well, I think that these TV guys, though, like if we're I would put Kirk Herbstreit at number 1. He's a friend of the program.
Is he?
Yeah. Is he not?
He said he was going to be on the show and he hadn't been on the fucking show.
All right. He's a friend of Barstool and he's a friend of mine. I don't know if he's a friend of yours.
I'm scared of him. All right. That's Unnecessary Roughness. We'll be back on Monday.